What is the difference between waiting and being patient? They sound similar, but the difference could transform your life. Patience is not about passively enduring, but actively investing in the journey. In this episode, we're going to share a 5-step framework for you so that you're able to take these steps and use the steps to transform waiting into fertile ground for personal growth, making the path to your goals more meaningful and fulfilling. Let's grow. Hello and welcome to the latest episode of Unmuted. I'm your host, Courtland Warren. Once upon a time, there were two farmers who both planted seeds. But what they did after planting the seeds made a world of difference. You see, the first farmer planted the seeds and then stared at the bare soil. He was trying to will the sprouts to appear. The farmer checked every day. He poked at the ground and even chanted magical words to the ground in hopes that a crop would appear. The second farmer, after planting, decided to tend the soil. He watered it regularly and made sure that it received proper sunlight. The second farmer understood the process, knew that the seeds needed time to grow, and actively supported the growth through action. No amount of staring and poking and chanting was going to replace the work that was required. You see, waiting and patience, they sound similar, but the difference can change your life. Waiting is passive because you don't do much when you are waiting. Patience, on the other hand, it's active. And because it's active, you continue to take action as the results are coming in. Patience is the ability to forgo what you desire as reward while the results are coming in. So it's like the next time you find yourself waiting, I want you to ask yourself, in this period of time, can I learn? Can I create? Can I connect while I'm here? Because that is truly where the magic begins to happen. So then how does a person go from just waiting and kind of tapping your foot or twiddling your thumbs or looking at the clock or looking at your watch and just waiting for the time to be done? How do you go from a place of waiting which is passive, to a place of patience? See, when you're in patience, you can actually still take action while you're patient. And that's the difference between the two. Waiting, passive. Waiting is passive. Patience is active because there's still work that can be done while you're in the process or in the practice of being patient. So as it turns out, there is this 5-step framework that you can use in order to move from waiting to being patient. Number one is you got to acknowledge your impatience. If you listen to the podcast, you'll know that before there's any real transformation that happens, there's a level of awareness that must occur. There's some introspection that is required. The first step in transforming anything is actually awareness. And so I would encourage you to be one who is aware of your impatience. The first step is admitting that you're feeling a little bit antsy, that you're feeling a bit annoyed. And as a result of that, now you can respond versus react. So trying to suppress it only worsens it. You've likely heard like what you resist persists. So when you try to suppress it and pretend like it's not there, it actually only makes it worse. So you name your emotion honestly and without judgment, okay? I'm feeling a little bit impatient. Like I'm waiting for this to be done. I'm waiting for this time to pass. Once you become aware, now some true growth and magic, I like to call it, can begin to happen. So we first acknowledge, and then two, we then reframe the situation. There's a lot of power in the reframe because the reframe is where we are assigning the meaning. No situation comes with its own meaning. right? So all of the meaning, all of the significance we assign. And so when you reframe the situation, you're actually shifting your perspective from what you're looking at, like the time or like results. Am I there yet? Have I reached the destination? Have I gotten to my goal? That's a focus on an outcome versus trusting of a process. Okay. So when you shift the perspective to when you shift the perspective from what you're lacking to what you have, right? Did you catch that? Okay. You want to shift your perspective from what you're lacking or what's missing to actually what you have. And ask yourself, then what opportunities does this waiting period present? How can I grow? How can I expand? How can I develop? I've often said that, man, the right opportunity will embarrass those who are not prepared. So while you're if you find yourself waiting and you want to move to patience, then while waiting, ask yourself what level of skill can be developed, what growth can occur as a result of. So we first acknowledge, and then we reframe the situation. And then number 3, it's time to take action, not against time, but towards growth. Not against the time, but towards the growth. Does that make sense? All right. So you're going to use your waiting time productively. So we'll tackle some small tasks. We'll explore a new hobby. We'll engage in like some mindfulness exercises. Or perhaps you can use that period to imagine what you're going to feel and what the experience will be once you've achieved it. You might even use that time to explore like what skills need to be developed in order for you to sustain what you create. So we first acknowledge, we then reframe the situation. Number 3, we take action not against time, but towards the growth. Number 4, all important, is we practice gratitude. We focus on what you're grateful for versus what's missing. A lot of times when we find ourselves antsy, we find ourselves impatient, it is because of a feeling that something is missing, and that when this new thing arrives, then I'll be complete. Or when I reach this goal, when I reach this summit, when I reach this place, then I'll be complete. When I can add this thing or add perhaps a relationship or a certain income level, when I get that, then I'll be complete. And until then, it's hollow. I feel invalidated. I feel a void of some sort. And so that period of time while you're waiting for that period of time before the results show up can be a period where you practice gratitude and actually embrace the truth that nothing is missing. There's nothing outside of you that can make you whole or complete. You already are. And with that understanding, you're ready to embrace this new level that you desire to be. So we 1, acknowledge. We 2, reframe. 3, we take action, not against time, but towards growth. Number 4, we practice gratitude. And then number 5, we accept the timing. See, nature, there is what's called a gestation period, where that's the time that is required. And there's not anything that we can do to force the growth to happen. Going back to the analogy earlier of the 2 farmers who planted seeds, and the first farmer is just staring at the bare ground, hoping and wishing for that seed to sprout, and just kind of beating the ground, prodding the ground, wanting the growth to happen faster. Well, the reality is that we can't do anything to speed up the growth. Nature has already determined that that is the case. And so we move from waiting to a place of patience when we accept the timing that has already been determined. By accepting the timing, what we do then is we understand that things have their own pace. And while you strive for progress, you're also trusting the process. I'll say that again. You can strive for progress, but you trust the process and accept that there are delays that are outside of your control. But your reaction and growth are always within your power. And so, will there be delays? Absolutely. Will things always go according to plan? We know not. Do we sometimes want it right now? Of course we do. I believe that that piece is natural. However, we must understand that we are in a process that must be conducive and that aligns with nature. And the more you're willing to accept the timing, then you get to practice patience and you can use the time before that outcome or that result arrives. You can use the time to support yourself in further growth and expansion. I hope that helps. If it does, don't keep it a secret. Let someone know that this podcast does exist. All right. And if you are not following me on Facebook or on here on YouTube, my vulnerable request to you is that you subscribe to the channel. And then after you subscribe, go and click the bell. So the bell will notify you whenever there is a new episode. Would love to also have you be a part of my email list. You can email info@courtlandwarren.com and just in the subject line put add me to the list. And that way, the reason why that's important to me is because I would like to be able to contact you and it not be dependent on the platform. So when I have announcements, when there's course offerings and so forth, I want to be able to reach you directly. So use an email that the best email or one at least that you regularly check. All right. So thanks again. I appreciate you listening in. And until next time, know that you are remarkable and you have something extraordinary that you can offer the world. We'll see you next time.